Hey everyone, Jordan St. Jones here, host and creator of the BorderlineDad podcast. I really appreciate you being here, whether it's your first time, your millionth time, or your billionth time. The fact that you'd come on by and give me a listen means the world to me. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks. So today I wanted to talk about breakdowns. I wanted to talk a little bit more about emotional intensity. If you are someone who is into a show like Supernatural, then you'll know that there was an episode where one of the main characters, Dean, had the Archangel Michael trapped in his head. When an angel or archangel possesses someone, the consciousnesses can kind of coexist, or maybe one can take a back seat, or whatever. So they managed to trap Michael in this room in Dean's head, and Dean had to keep him there for a long time. And if you remember the scene where Michael is just screaming, pounding on the door, that's kind of what borderline personality disorder can feel like, at least in my experience, most of the time. If you have BPD, you probably feel like you're on a roller coaster. And not just because of your unstable emotions or relationships, but, with BPD, with any personality disorder, really, you might also have this wavering sense of who you are. Your self-image, your goals, and even your likes and dislikes may change frequently in ways that feel confusing and unclear. People with BPD tend to be extremely sensitive, and I know one thing that I hate personally is when I'm being told, oh, you're just being sensitive, or you're just, you're overreacting. Oh, that's the worst. You're overreacting. When I was living with my mother, of course, my emotions were all over the place when I had to move back in after my split. And at one point she said, "You're the most depressed acting person I've ever met." And that word acting just stuck out like a sore thumb. I try not to get too upset, because I've had to learn to understand that people who don't have a mental illness, they can research it and they can study it and they can learn about it, but I don't think they'll really ever understand what it feels like to have it. And for me, I can detect the slightest change in tone, in person, over text even, and it when I detect that, I just go absolutely mental on the inside. I cannot show it on the outside because it can really cause a lot of issues. I've been in situations where I've been in public. I used to work in food service, and it just, you can't always show your emotions. And one time at work, I did have a bit of an episode where I showed my anger and my frustration at a fellow employee for not doing their work, for not pulling their weight, and for just being so careless and reckless. But I realized that was wrong, and I realized that I shouldn't be doing it. But of course, as I've said in my other podcast, it's like, again, another nerdy kind of way to describe it. It's like being in Hulk mode, super angry, super pissed, whatever, and seeing everything happen. You're feeling the emotions, you're seeing it happen, but it's like almost having an out-of-body experience. You cannot control it. You cannot stop it, no matter how hard you try. And it's something that I have struggled with so much. My father was someone who always had trouble biting his tongue. He could not control his emotions. My father was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression, which has caused a whole host of issues. But that's, it's not about, it's hard. Not everybody is able to control it. And sometimes I even can't control it. I have a slip, whether it's with my kids, whether it's out in public. And it's not always me going into a screaming match. It's me kind of being rude, making an off-color comment, maybe being a little passive-aggressive. And I don't know how to stop it. And excuse me, that's what caused a lot of issues, I believe, in my last relationship, because for a long time I was acting certain ways and I didn't know how to control myself, and I allowed myself to be overcome by emotions, which again sometimes I still do. I didn't go to therapy when I was younger, when I should have. When I was married, I started going to therapy, but only after it was too late. It's hard because, like I said, your goals, your self-image, even your likes, dislikes may change very frequently in ways that feel confusing and unclear. Like, for instance, for me, my goal for the longest time, before I was even 18, I'm a lot older now. I'm going to be 28 soon, but I had kids young. I had kids at 20. But, for the longest time, I wanted to get involved in the tattoo world. I wanted to eventually have everything culminate in me owning my own business, my own tattoo shop or studio. And, I never really looked into it much until I started hanging out at this one tattoo shop. I really liked the owner. We got along great. We became friends. I eventually worked there. I was shop help, and it was interesting. My interest changed very quickly, and I didn't understand why, because for so long I was so planted in my goals, my beliefs, and I was very determined, and all of a sudden I was kind of wavering. I had been to one tattoo convention, and I had actually talked to someone who was famous in the tattoo world. I won't name names, but they essentially said, "Look, listen, I wouldn't get tattooed at a shop that, doesn't, the owner doesn't tattoo." And I don't. I have no artistic ability. So I've kind of changed my mind. I want to still open up a tattoo shop, but just like a tattoo supply store, or emporium. That'd be kind of cool. But, it is what it is. Things change. Sometimes my passions for things get reignited, and taking the first step in doing anything is absolutely terrifying. Also, for me, with my emotions, what could be literally not a big deal to someone is the worst thing I could possibly do in my life to me. When I worked at the shop, I would mess up quite a bit, and the owner would be like, "Dude, it's no big deal." But to me, I felt like I deserved to be fired and shunned and all this other stuff, even though it was really not a big deal at the time. But again, I can't help how I feel. I do my best not to show it. because, again, some instances you could get into quite a lot of trouble. It's small things can trigger intense reactions. What they say is true. I read, once you're upset, you have trouble calming down, and you really, really do. And it's not just an anger issue. It's an emotional thing. You get so mad and just so done with everything that it could take a very, very long time to calm down. For me, sometimes I've been angry for a half a day over something that might have happened the night before, or a memory of the past might get triggered, and I might remember something that I'd rather not remember, and it just pisses me off. It could have happened 20 years ago, and and maybe I haven't thought about it in almost 20 years or whatever, but if, just one little blink and everything is back. The feeling, how I felt back then, is back, and it's really, really hard to get past that. And when I'm in that moment of rage, when I'm just absolutely pissed off to no end, it is so hard to come down. It really is. It's ruined relationships. Another thing that I have to deal with is impulsivity, reckless behavior. I'm the kind of guy that will impulse buy a candy bar, or if I'm at the store to get diapers, milk, bread, whatever else I need, I'll be the one to buy a treat for the house. But that's kind of how I justify it, because I'm buying something that I shouldn't, and I know I shouldn't, but it's one of those weird things where I cannot stop myself from doing it. It is, my whole body feels like it's burning with such an intensity until I hate to describe it this way, but it's almost like getting a fix, It's almost, I've never been hard into drugs, or really into drugs at all, but I imagine it's like you're itching to spend, or buy that thing, buy, and if you don't, you just, like I said, it's like a burning intensity, and when you get that thing, it's a huge sense of relief, but it's also immediate guilt, and it's not fun, and it can be such a vicious cycle. You very well may act out if you can't control it. Say something inappropriate. Maybe make a stupid comment just quickly that you instantly regret. I don't know. It's something that is it's hard for me to talk about, because I don't want to get triggered, and it sounds weird saying that, but it's, emotions were something that I completely shut off for a long time, never gave it a second thought, never had emotion. There was a time in my life where I didn't feel like I had emotion. Something bad would happen, I'd just be carrying on with my day. Something that used to scare me, or something that used to terrify me or make me feel sick or sad, I literally had no emotion, or that's what it felt like. I learned about disassociating and grounding techniques. Grounding is, so for me, there'll be times where when I disassociate, it genuinely is like having an out-of-body experience. It's very common with personality disorders. It's common with a few things, but sometimes I find myself fighting to get grounded, which grounding techniques are incredibly important. When I disassociate, at least, I am aware. I'm not aware when it's starting to happen, but when I'm fully disassociated, I can still hear and see things and, have full conversations. I'm still functioning, but it genuinely is like I'm not, I was going to say not in my body, but like I'm having an out-of-body experience. Like all my emotions are gone. There's like a wave of numbness, So some grounding techniques that I have discovered. All right, I didn't discover it. In my research, I've found it. That's the wrong word. In my research, I have found some grounding techniques, and there is a few different types. There's physical grounding, there's mental grounding, there is soothing techniques, there are a bunch of different techniques, but those are kind of the main ones. Physical, these techniques. Now, I'm not reading this off of something I've written. I am on a Healthline website because I just for references, it's healthline.com. And again, I'm not an expert. The internet is not an expert. This is just what I found. Physical techniques use your five senses or tangible objects, things that you can touch, to help you move through distress, dissociation. The first one it says is put your hands in water. Focus on the water's temperature and how it feels on your fingertips, your palms, and the back of your hands. Does it feel the same in each part of your hand? It says use warm water first, then cold. Next, try cold water first, then warm. Does it feel different to switch from cold to warm versus warm to cold? It deals in senses. But, my daughter has autism, and a big thing for them is people on the autism spectrum disorder is sensory toys. We've gotten my daughter special gifts for Christmas, sensory toys, lights. She's not a big fan of lights that rotate around your room. She doesn't like that, but she loves beads, she loves necklaces, she loves sand, water, things like that. Pick up or the next one here, it says pick up or touch items near you. Really focus. Are the things that you touch soft or hard? Try to focus on whether it's heavy or light, warm or cool. Focus on the texture and color of each item. Challenge yourself to think of specific colors. I'm not very good at specific colors for me. It says here specific colors such as crimson, burgundy, indigo, or turquoise instead of simply red or blue. And that's really, really hard for me because I have such a hard time with specific colors. A maroon could be a dark red to me. You know what I mean? Indigo, I think, is blue or purple. I don't even know. And I'm not colorblind, but I have been told that sometimes where others see pink, I see purple. I'll see light red. Others will see orange. Just little things like that. Another physical thing that you can do to ground yourself is breathe deeply. Slowly inhale then exhale. Then, if it helps, you can say or think in, out. You don't have to say it out loud. Just, you can say it in your head or out loud, whatever works for you. Feel each breath filling your lungs and note how it feels to push it back out. What does it feel like? Does it feel hard? Does it feel relaxing? Do you feel your body relaxing? Do you feel a tingling sensation? For me, when I breathe in and out, I get like a warm, fuzzy feeling, like a nice warm fuzzy feeling going from my head, goes all the way down my head, my neck. I can feel it go down my chest, into my legs, my toes. It goes out. Savor a food or drink. Take small bites or sips of a food or beverage you enjoy. Let yourself fully taste each bite. Don't just take a bite, chew, swallow. Like, really think about what are the flavors of, your whatever you're eating or drinking. Is it hot? Is it cold? Spicy? Is it sweet? Think about how it tastes, how it smells, and the flavors that linger on your tongue. An example for me is coffee. I know a lot of people use it. I think it's a good thing. I don't like my coffee super sweet. I like it a little bitter. 1 cream, 1 sugar, and sometimes not even sugar. Just 1 cream is fine. If you don't have any coffee around, I keep a case of water in my fridge, and I will grab a water bottle, be very cold, and I'll drink it. Sometimes my teeth are sensitive, and that pain really, brings me kind of back a little bit. That might be a bad example, but it just, if you don't have any food or snack or anything, you could take a short walk. But don't just go for a walk, though. I want you to concentrate on your steps. You can even count them. Notice the rhythm of your footsteps, how it feels to put your foot on the ground, lift it again, take another step forward, keep going. Hold a piece of ice. What does it feel like? How long does it take until it starts melting? How does the sensation change when the ice begins to melt? Really feel the cold, Hold it in your hands in an open palm or a closed fist, whatever is your preference. The next one it says is savor a scent. So is there a fragrance that appeals to you? Maybe a cup of tea, an herb, a spice, a favorite soap, or a scented candle. For me, I love candles. I am a huge scented candle person. And my favorite, I love fruity candles. I love pineapple. I have a cranberry chutney, whatever that is. I love it, though. And I also love pumpkin. What is it? Pumpkin butter. So it's a really good smelly candle. And inhale the fragrance slowly and deeply and try to know its qualities. Does it have a sweet or a spicy, a citrusy scent? Move your body is another one. If you're feeling disassociated, if you need to try and ground yourself, do a few exercises or stretches, jumping jacks, jump rope, jogging in place, stretching different muscles. Pay attention, though, when you're doing it to how your body feels with each movement and when your hands or feet touch the floor or move through the air. How does the floor feel against your feet, against your hands? If you jump rope, listen to the sound of the rope in the air when it hits the ground. I personally love, I haven't jumped rope in ages, but I love the swishing sound, it's oddly relaxing. And another thing I love, like for me, is thunderstorm noises. I love thunderstorms, rain. I have a 45-minute track of those sounds on my phone. and I have it just on a loop all night, and I love it. Listen to your surroundings too. If you're outside, you hear any birds, dogs barking, machinery, traffic. And let me tell you, near where I am, it seems like there is traffic all the time. But again, if you hear people talking, what are they saying? Do you recognize the language? Is it a foreign language? Is it a local language? Let the sounds wash over you and remind you where you are. Another one, it might sound different, but again, it works. And I've done this too. It's called Feel Your Body. You can do this by sitting or standing. Focus on how your body feels from head to toe, noticing each part. Can you feel your hair on your shoulders or your forehead? Sometimes I'll run my hands through my hair, or rub my forehead. I wear glasses, so the glasses on your ears or your nose, the weight of your shirt on your shoulders. Do your arms feel loose or stiff at your sides? Can you feel your heartbeat? Is it rapid? Is it steady? Does your stomach feel full, or are you hungry? Are your legs crossed, or are your feet resting on the floor? Is your back straight? Before I continue, I again would like to mention that all this information that I'm reading to you is at healthline.com. I didn't come up with any of it, so I'm just reading straight from the page. This is not something I'll normally do, but I wanted to make sure that I got all my facts straight. I knew about some grounding methods, but I did not know about a lot of these. So as far as physical, curl your fingers, wiggle your toes. Are you barefoot or are you in shoes? How does the floor feel against your feet? I have, my living room has carpet. My kitchen has a hard floor. It's not tile or hardwood. It's, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's often cold. So I'll stand on, I'll stand on the kitchen floor, or I'll go outside, my bare feet on the steps. They're cold. They're stone steps, so, it's kind of grainy. Try the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. Working backward from 5, use your senses to listen to things around you. Or it says listen to things you notice around you. For example, you might start by listing 5 things you hear, then 4 things you see, then 3 things you can touch from where you're sitting, 2 things that you can smell. I live near a lot of restaurants, so I can often smell burgers being cooked, or if the winds are really blowing, I can smell Chinese food, which is such a wonderful smell. Chinese food, I think, would be one of my favorite scented candles, but also very dangerous because I'd probably want to order it all the time. So 2 things you can smell. 2 things you can smell and 1 thing you can taste. Make an effort to notice the little things, that you might not always pay attention to. The color of the flecks in the carpet or the hum of your computer. I have a laptop. Still hums. My Xbox, it gets quite loud sometimes. For me, another thing is not only do I sleep with the thunderstorm noises, but I sleep with the fan on. I like the feeling, and I like the humming of the fan. Mental techniques. These are grounding exercises. Use mental distractions to help you redirect your thoughts away from distressing feelings and try and get you back to the present. Try and play a memory game to yourself or with others. Look at a detailed photograph or picture, like a cityscape or a busy scene, for 5 to 10 seconds. Then turn the photograph face down and try and recreate the photograph in your mind in as much detail as possible. For me, that is impossible. It's so hard, but it is worth a shot, Or you can mentally list all the things you remember from the picture. Try thinking in categories. Choose one or two broad categories, such as musical instruments, ice cream flavors, baseball teams, whatever. Take a minute or two to mentally list as many things from each category as you can. That actually sounds kind of fun. Use math and numbers. I have never been good at math. My brain is like, again, it's like I got a little guy in my head screaming constantly, and so trying to focus and do math is just not something that's going to happen. I took the same math class 3 times in high school. I was the only senior in my freshman math class. Thank you very much. Recite something. Think of a poem, a song, a book, or a book passage, by heart. Recite it quietly to yourself or in your head. If you say the words out loud, focus on the shape of each word on your lips and in your mouth. If you say the words in your head, try to visualize each word as you're saying it. For me, my mother always used to sing me, "You are my sunshine." You are my sunshine. I'm not going to sing it, but I sing that to myself quite a bit. I also have a quote from my favorite show. It's my favorite quote from my favorite show, from Doctor Who. The quote is, "Demons run when a good man goes to war." And usually when I recite that, I'll start thinking about Doctor Who, and that really helps because that gets me excited, Try to make yourself laugh. Make a silly joke, watch a funny video, a clip of stand-up comedy, something from your favorite TV show that'll make you laugh, Another really, really helpful is what's known as an anchoring phrase. This might be, I'm X years old, I live in blank city and state. So, for example, obviously I'm not going to use my real name, but I am John Smith. I'm 28 years old. I live in, Potato Land. I am so horrible. Oh my God, Potato Land. I live in Pillsbury City in Florida. I don't know. Oh my God, Potato Land. Oh, that is so weird. Anyway, continue it. Say, today is Friday, June 3rd. It's 10:04. For me, where I am, it's Thursday, March 26th, 9:36 p.m. I'm sitting at my desk, kind of say things out loud or in your head. There's no one else in the room. You can expand it by adding details about how you're feeling. Talk about the weather. Oh, it's raining a little bit. I'm thirsty, whatever. Visualize a daily task you enjoy or don't mind doing, If you like doing laundry, imagine you taking the clothes out of the dryer, feeling the warmth against your skin, smelling the fresh clothes, the soft, they feel light in the basket, even though they spill over the top. I'm spreading them over the bed so they won't wrinkle. I'm folding the towels first, things like that. Describe a common task. I do this often. I mean, I don't, it's not technically common task, but, before I go to bed, I'll be like, okay, when I wake up, I'm going to use the restroom. I'm going to get the kids up. I'm going to change them, feed them breakfast, and then whatever we have to do for the day. Another one is, imagine yourself leaving the painful feelings behind. This can be triggering. This can be very hard. Picture yourself gathering all your emotions, balling them up, and putting them in a box. Imagine your thoughts as a song or a TV show you dislike. Changing the channel, turning down the volume, whatever you got to do, There are soothing techniques. Picture the voice or face of someone you love. That also goes with the song, when you sing, "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine." My mother used to sing that, and so I like to picture her singing that. Not when she's angry, though. Then it's kind of weird. But, if you feel upset, visualize someone who's positive in your life. Think of their voice. Imagine them telling you that in that moment what you're experiencing is tough, but you're going to get through it. Practice self-kindness, Hey, you're having a rough time, but you'll make it through. You are strong, and you can move through this pain. You are trying hard, and you know what? You are doing your best. Say it out loud or in your head as many times as you need it. Self-affirmation is huge. If you have a pet, sit with your pet, pet them. If you have a cat, feel the purring and listen to the purr, pet them. If you have a bird, maybe talk to them, give them some treats, listen to their birdie sounds. If you have a smaller pet, like I said, a bird, maybe a hamster, you concentrate on the feeling, how they feel in your hand, and if you're not at home, think of your favorite things about your pet. List your favorites, music, foods, TV shows, books, songs. For me, I think about Doctor Who quite a bit. That's my favorite show, and it always gets me in a good mood. Or tacos. Oh man, steak tacos. Woo-wee. Visualize your favorite place, Whether it's the home of a loved one, a foreign country, use all of your senses to create a mental image. Think of the colors you see, the sounds you hear, the sensations you feel in your skin. One of the coolest moments for me in my life or coolest places I've been was when I went to Washington, D.C. After visiting the Lincoln Memorial, I went out a little bit. I sat on the steps. I looked out. I saw the National Mall. I saw the Washington Monument. I sat on those steps, and I just remember thinking of all the cool things and all the amazing historic things that have happened on those steps. And I just smile. Visualizing your favorite place too. Use your imagination. For me, again, Doctor Who. Imagine you're in the TARDIS. Imagine you're flying through time and space with your favorite companions. And maybe imagine you are a companion, Oh man, that show is so cool. I just smile thinking about it. Plan an activity. It might either be something you do alone, with a friend, a loved one. Think about what you'll do. Maybe go to dinner, go see a movie, walk on the beach. I mean, not nowadays. All the viruses going around, but eventually you can get back to it. Or think about times where you could do that stuff. Touch something comforting like a favorite blanket, your favorite shirt, a smooth stone, carpet, whatever feels good to you. Think about how it feels under your fingers and your hand. Listen to music, listen to or list positive things. Put on your favorite song, but pretend you're listening to it for the first time. Focus on the melody, the lyrics, if there is any. Does the song give you chills or create any other physical sensations? Pay attention to the part that stands out to you most. Grounding yourself isn't always easy. It may take time before any of these techniques work well, but please do not give up on them. I believe in you, and I know you can do it. I always say, if I can do it, literally anyone can do it. It's just, it was like school, I was like, if I can graduate school, literally anyone can. It just takes time. Practice, it can help to practice grounding even when you are not disassociating or experiencing distress. If you get used to an exercise before you need to use it, it may take less effort when you want to use it to cope in the moment. Start early if you can. Try doing a grounding exercise when you first start to feel bad. Don't wait for distress to reach a level that's harder to handle. If the chosen technique does not work, try another one. If that doesn't work, keep trying. Just keep trying. Don't give up. Avoid assigning values. For example, if you're grounding yourself by describing your environment, concentrate on the basics of your surroundings rather than how you feel about those surroundings. If you're outside, the grass between your fingers, the sand between your toes on the beach, the smell of barbecue, really, really focus on the basics. Check in with yourself mentally, before and after a grounding exercise. Rate your distress, if you can, as a number between 1 and 10. What level is your distress when you begin? How much did it decrease after the exercise? And this can actually help get help you get a better idea of whether a particular technique is working for you. Keep your eyes open. I know this is a tough one, but avoid closing your eyes. It's often easier, at least for me, to remain connected to the present if you are looking at your current environment. Again, this is all at healthline.com. Grounding techniques can be a powerful tool to help you cope with distressing thoughts, but the relief they provide is generally temporary. It really is important to get help from a therapist so you can address what's causing the distress. And if you don't have one yet, please reach out and try and find one. For me, honestly, it was so very hard to first reach out and make contact, but I did it. And I was so terrified, but I don't regret a second of it. It's like, let's say you're in school, right? Let's say you're in college or high school or whatever, middle school even. Let's say there is someone that you have a crush on, whether it's a friend that you've known for a while, whether it's a stranger that you've just kind of observed in the halls, or maybe you have class with them. It can be easy to build up a fantasy in your head. But you're generally never going to know if they feel the same way about you unless you ask. And, if they say no, it's going to suck and it's going to hurt. But at least you'll be able to attempt and try to move on. I've opened up to people and I've been crushed, but it's all been for the better because I eventually found someone that loves me for who I am. I love them for who they are, and I just could not be happier. I know this was a long one. I wanted to go on that website and read it off because, I wanted to get my facts straight. I did not want to spread misinformation. I didn't want to, I didn't want to say anything that might have been incorrect. And I knew about some grounding techniques, but I did not know about a lot of those. So just, do with that what you will. Go on a website. But don't, I say go on a website. Go on a website, but don't rely on that website. Don't necessarily try to, believe everything. Don't believe everything you hear on the internet. Don't ever try to self-diagnose. Go to an expert. And I've said before that if you are nervous about therapy, taking that first step, it's okay to talk to a friend, a family member, and if you don't have anyone, email me, BorderlineDad@yahoo.com. I will always be there. I'll always listen without judgment. I'm always there for you. But I am no expert, so I can just speak from my own experiences. I know it's terrifying, but you got this. I believe in you. I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful night.